Hello everyone at the Suffolk Crunch. My name is Alex Turk. I'm a Manchester United writer for BBC Sport and a senior sports reporter over at the Daily Express as well. But most of all, I'm of course a big Manchester United fan. A suffering season ticket holder at Old Trafford in the last few years, especially compared to you guys. You guys have been absolutely crushing it. So I'm really excited for this weekend. It's been a long time since United visited Portman Road. I was 3 years old when Ruben van Nistelrooy won that, should we say, contentious penalty to beat Ipswich 1-0. 22 years later, here we are, and I'm super excited to preview this one. Huge occasion for more reasons than one. Some really exciting storylines. Of course, Kieran McKenna reuniting with United. The small matter of Ruben Amorim. There's a new boss in town at Old Trafford. How's he going to fare? Hopefully I can shed a bit of light on United's side of things, and also give my thoughts on how I think Ipswich have done so far since your return to the Premier League, to the big time. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Thanks again for having me on. So, United's season so far. Well, I think if any club changes their manager in November, it's a pretty clear indicator that things have not gone well. And bloody hell, did they not go well for Erik ten Hag this season. Last season was poor. A record low 8th place finish in the Premier League for Manchester United. Salvaged, rescued by that fantastic FA Cup win against Manchester City. But I think that just delayed the inevitable, unfortunately. And United, they didn't just stagnate this season, they regressed. So I think Ten Hag left after 11 games in the Premier League. United had 9 points, worst ever start to the Premier League season, beating the record that Ten Hag himself set last term. We'd won 3 games out of 9, we'd lost 4, and with a negative goal difference as well, which we also had last season. So it has not been a good 18 months or so, apart from a few pretty special matches like the one against City at Wembley. Ruben van Nistelrooy obviously replaced Ten Hag, steadied the ship a bit, as interim managers tend to do most of the time. A few good results. We've won 3 of our last 4. We drew the other against Chelsea. And while we're still 13th in the Premier League now, we're only 4 points off the top 3. So yeah, since Ten Hag left, we've played a bit better. Nothing's, no miraculous improvement. But the players have looked more confident, and they should all be chomping at the bit to impress the new man Amorim. But for you guys to know, this United team, they are there to get got at. They really are. We haven't been scoring enough goals. We've been very tame in attack. It's one of the main things that the new manager has to solve. Defensively, we've been good. Andre Onana has kept the most clean sheets in the Premier League this season. But yeah, it's a team still low on confidence, and a new manager can only do so much. We can only go off what we've seen from these players this season, and away from home especially, United can get got at. They really can. And Ipswich, you should be up for it after that fantastic result against Tottenham. And if the stadium's bouncing and Ipswich start well, I think it could be a real tough day for United. I don't think anyone is going into this match predicting that United are clear favourites. There is a real big sense of the unknown about this one, which I think could work in your guys' favours very much. So, of course, the big talking point going into this weekend, especially from our side of the fence, is the arrival of Ruben Amorim, Sporting's all-conquering boss, it seems. He went into Sporting in 2020 and he completely transformed a struggling club under new ownership. They hadn't won the league in 19 years when he arrived. That quickly changed after one season. He won a second title last year in his third season, and this season his side were well on course to defend the title for the first time in 7 decades, because they'd won every single league match, as well as a very strong start in the Champions League, which of course included that fantastic 4-1 win against City, which, as you can imagine, went down very well on our side of the city. So it's really interesting this, because I'm sure you guys are hoping I might shed a bit of light on what to expect from Ruben Amorim's Manchester United this weekend. And while I can give you an idea of what to expect based on his sporting team, it's impossible to know what to expect from United on Sunday, because Ten Hag came in at United in 2022 and he had a certain style of play that he was obviously so successful with at Ajax, and he tried to instill it straight away against Brighton on the opening day of the season, and United lost 2-1 at home. He stuck with it away at Brentford the next game, and you might remember it was that horrendous 4-0 defeat in West London. Amorim's going to do the same. He's already promised that he's got an identity and he's going to stick to it. It was the one big criticism of Ten Hag. After those 2 games, he abandoned his game plan, and United hadn't really had a strategy since then. No one knew how United were going to play, ever. Amorim has pledged to change that. So I think we know how United are going to try and play this weekend, at least. Whether it's going to pull off, it is anyone's guess, because, as I've said, it's the players on the pitch at the end of the day, and they have not been good recently. They have been as good as they are in the league. United are 13th in the Premier League for a reason, and it's exciting. Of course, Ruben Amorim, is he the one to end this seemingly cursed run of managers since Sir Alex Ferguson? Who knows? It's impossible to tell, but he's different. He's a different appointment, and that offers optimism and hope. He's the 6th permanent manager since Sir Alex Ferguson retired in 2013. He's one of the youngest managers in United history by a distance. He's only 39, and it's exciting from what I've seen of him since he's come in. Because as soon as he got announced as Ten Hag's successor, all of the media attention imploded on him, and he has handled it so well. It gives me great encouragement that he's going to handle the pressure here. But also, I've spoken to a lot of people who know much more about Portuguese football than I do, and 99% of the feedback has been positive. There's a great sense of parallels between the situation he walked into at Sporting and the one he's walking into at Manchester United. But you guys are only interested in the first game of his reign, because it's against Ipswich Town on Sunday, and honestly, anything could happen. Because if there was one game this season that I wouldn't want to predict the outcome of, or how United are going to play, or who's going to play, it would be this one, because it's going to be different to what we've seen over the last season or two. Whether that's for the positive or for the worse, it's just a test of time. We're going to have to see. But I'm going to give a good shot at predicting who's going to start for United and what formation we could see against you guys on Sunday. So I'm sure those watching have seen that Amorim has his trademark 3-4-3 formation. It's been the talk of the town since he accepted the job, and how United are going to transition from Ten Hag's 4-2-3-1 to this 3 at the back system, because United, throughout the club's history really, we have never operated in a 3 at the back system. That's what makes it so interesting. Louis van Gaal trialled it for a little bit when he was in charge in 2015. Ten Hag has trialled it a couple times, but it never stuck. Amorim, as I've said, he's guaranteed that he's going to make it stick. So how are United going to look? Well, Andre Onana is in goal, of course. There's nothing really needs to be said about that one. The centre-backs, well, United have a defensive injury crisis, and it seems like we've had a defensive injury crisis since the start of last season, to be honest. You never quite know who is going to be fit and who isn't. I could probably tell you that Harry Maguire is not going to make it for the weekend, and I would be shocked if Victor Lindelof was in the squad as well. He suffered an injury during the international break. The ones who are going to be fit, I think it's Johnny Evans, it's Matthias de Ligt. Lisandro Martinez dropped out of Argentina duty. He suffered a knock in the 3-0 win against Leicester last time out. I think the way he is, he's going to battle through, and I think he'll be fit for this weekend. And then there is the case of Lenny Yoro, United's 59 million summer signing, highly rated 19-year-old centre-back. He hasn't played yet this season. He suffered an injury in pre-season, and he only just returned to training before the November international break. I have a feeling he's going to be in the squad because rumour has it he was meant to play for United's under-21s on Tuesday, but Ruben Amorim has pulled him out of that game after seeing him in training because presumably he needs him available for this weekend. So will he start? No, I don't think so. But I would expect United's back three in front of Onana to be Lisandro Martinez, Matthias de Ligt and Johnny Evans. The two central midfielders in the 3-4-3. Kobbie Mainoo's back in training. He's been out since the start of October. I don't think he'll be rushed back into the starting 11 this weekend. He's still only young. It's sometimes hard to remember that, but he's only 19. Casemiro and Manuel Ugarte have been our sort of first choice midfield two in recent weeks, especially under Ruben Amorim. I wouldn't be surprised if that is the two we go with this weekend. It's absolutely freezing out here, so I'm trying to keep my head on. I think it'll be those two. Bit of a concern about the energy, because that neither of them are really the energetic presences that Amorim has been used to in his midfield. One of them at Sporting tended to be a number 6, a ball winner. The other one was sort of a number 8, a box crasher, more of a box-to-box player. Neither of them really fit that mould. Mainoo does, but as I said, I don't think he'll be ready to start this weekend. So that's a weakness I think Ipswich could exploit. And I also forgot to mention the centre-backs. Obviously, Martinez, de Ligt and Evans isn't the quickest back line in the world. And especially those sort of outer centre-back positions. I think Ipswich could definitely cause some harm in those areas, especially if United's wing-backs struggle to sort of cope with the defensive and attacking roles that they're going to have to take up in this new position. And talking to the wing-backs, again, it's so hard to predict because at Sporting, Amorim used one wing-back as a sort of a natural full-back, a more supportive player, possession-based, and the other one was a natural winger, more direct, more attacking. At Sporting, he used 17-year-old Giovanni Quenda, who has been setting European football on fire this season. United don't really have a player that fits the same bill, which is a concern. I think what he's going to do this weekend anyway is stick with two natural fullbacks in the wing-back positions, because Luke Shaw and Tyrell Malacia, United's two left-backs, neither of them have played since February. Well, Luke Shaw hasn't played since February. Tyrell Malacia has been injured since the start of last season. So we've only had right-backs since then, apart from Ragil on loan from Tottenham, but didn't last long, that. So yeah, Dalot and Mazraoui have been our first choice fullbacks this season, and I would presume they're going to carry on at Ipswich. Dalot on the right, Mazraoui on the left, because one of Amorim's wing-backs at Sporting was sort of an inverted wing-back. So Quenda, he played on the right, but he's left-footed. So I think that will work the same. Mazraoui on the left, he's right-footed, so he can cut in. And maybe Dalot will be the winger who's more direct, and Mazraoui the winger that's more sort of supportive in possession. And then the attack. Well, one of the roles in this front three is an attacking midfielder, a traditional attacking midfielder who creates chances, who tries to break the lines, and that is obviously a tailor-made role for Bruno Fernandes, Ruben Amorim's fellow Portuguese midfielder. Yeah, he's going to start. If Bruno Fernandes is fit, he always starts for Manchester United, and he's been pretty poor this season under Ten Hag. He didn't score once in Ten Hag's 14 games in charge at the start of the campaign. Then Van Nistelrooy came in, and Fernandes has suddenly remembered how to score goals, and he's scored a lot, and he's registered quite a few assists to us in the last few games. So he's in form. He scored an absolutely brilliant goal for Portugal during the international break as well, and I think he'll be full of confidence at Portman Road this weekend, which might be bad news for you guys. But I'm trying hard not to make any rash predictions, because the uncertainty around this game is massive. But it'll be Fernandes as one of the number 10s. The other one tends to be a more traditional winger, inverted inside forward. I think he's going to go with Amad Diallo here. Ten Hag didn't really give Amad much of a chance at the start of the season, and fans were growing very frustrated with that. Van Nistelrooy came in and he gave Amad a chance, and Amad's been absolutely brilliant the last few games. He scored twice against PAOK in the Europa League to win the game for United, and he also assisted Fernandes's beautiful goal against Leicester with a really deft back heel. He's full of confidence, and it would mean dropping Alejandro Garnacho, who has been United's best attacker this season, most productive attacker anyway. But I think for balance in Amorim's side, should see Alejandro Garnacho drop to the bench for this one, with Amad starting as sort of a winger who can cut in from the right, with Fernandes on the left. But both of those number 10s will be quite central because of the wing backs. Well, according to Sporting style of play anyway. And up front, United's front two striker options, they're worth a combined 108.5 million. It's Rasmus Højlund and Joshua Zirkzee. Neither have really been scoring this season. I think Zirkzee scored 1 in 17 games, I think. And Rasmus Højlund scored 2, I think, in about 14, 15 games. So nowhere near the numbers that a United striker needs to be producing. And this brings me on to the case of Marcus Rashford. I have a sneaky suspicion Rashford might be United's starting striker this weekend. Yeah, he's been at Carrington all week, so he's been involved in all of Amorim's training sessions while Højlund and Zirkzee have been away with their countries, and that's obviously given him more time to sort of get to grips with Amorim's style in the limited time that he's had. And yeah, when Ten Hag came in 2 years ago, he actually deployed Rashford as his central striker, and Rashford produced a career best season. He scored 30 goals in the 22-23 season. Then he moved out to the left, which is meant to be his preferred position, but he's really struggled last season, and the goals haven't really been flowing this season. He's been more of a playmaker this season, which was a bit annoying and weird. I think Amorim is going to really try and refuel his taste for goals by putting him up front in this new system. Might be wrong. If Rashford doesn't start up front, it'll be Højlund over Xerxes. That I can guarantee. Xerxes just does not look suited to the Premier League whatsoever. Obviously, he's young. He's going to need time. But at the moment, if you're basing a striker on Victor Gyökeres at Sporting, it's impossible to replicate his goals. But in terms of the profile of player, Rasmus Højlund is a pretty good match. But he's still very raw, and Amorim needs goals quickly, and he needs results quickly. And I think he will trust Marcus Rashford to get them from the get-go. So that's my predicted lineup. Onana, De Ligt, Evans, Martinez. Then in midfield, Dalot, Agate, Casemiro and Mazraoui. And then in attack, Ahmed and Fernandez as the two number 10s, and Marcus Rashford up front. And just to finish off, really, I just wanted to say a little something about Kieran McKenna and of course Ipswich. Obviously McKenna, he's got history of United, our former youth coach turned first team assistant under Jose Mourinho and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He was treated pretty harshly by fans when he left the club, because I just think, especially on social media, when United have been, or any club have been sort of having bad results and there's sort of a change of manager, when their sort of assistants and coaches follow them, the sort of general consensus tends to be, oh, well, they were obviously the problem as well, so it's a good job they've gone. So after Solskjaer left the club, McKenna and Michael Carrick left at the same time. And obviously Michael Carrick, he's doing a great job at Borough. But McKenna especially is really proving what a fantastic coach he is, and I can honestly say I was so happy in the summer. He was obviously linked with some big jobs, Chelsea, Brighton, I think, United obviously, but I was always hoping that he'd stay at Ipswich, because what he's built with you guys has been pretty special, pretty beautiful. To take the club from League One to the Premier League in 3 years while using a lot of the same players is just the stuff of fantasy, really. It's been an absolute joy to watch. It really has, and I wish you guys and Kieran McKenna all the best. I don't tend to watch much EFL. I don't really find the time for it, but I did love watching Ipswich, especially in the Championship. Just the high pressing, high tempo, goal scoring machine that was the Tractor Boys. Absolutely loved it. But I also respect how McKenna has got you to the Premier League, and he sort of understood that he needs to adapt his play style this season to try and survive. I really like Thomas Frank at Brentford, and I think he did that brilliantly with Brentford to sort of establish themselves as a Premier League club. On the other hand, I think Vincent Kompany didn't do that at Burnley last season. He was a bit naive, and he stuck with his system that obviously tore the Championship apart. And Burnley, we know what happened to them last season. So McKenna's come in, and I think he has made Ipswich, he's tried to make Ipswich, a bit harder to beat, but still sort of threatening on the counter-attack. You've got some very good attacking players. Really like Sammy Smodics. Big fan of Liam Delap, as much as he is a former City player. I think you have some great footballers. And I hope McKenna keeps you up, because his stock is so high, and rightly so. And I don't think if you go back down this season, I don't think his stock will take a hit. And I don't mean that will mean Ipswich are out the picture. As long as you have Kieran McKenna as your manager, I think you will always have a chance of establishing yourself as a Premier League club. So, yeah, really excited to sort of see how he manages United this weekend. Obviously, I think if I was going into this match and Ten Hag was still the manager, I would seriously back you boys to get a result, because McKenna will know a lot of those players. He'll know their tendencies, and I think he's as good a coach to sort of deal with them and counter them and beat them. So obviously, with Amorim coming in, he's going to deploy a whole new system. He's going to ask these players to do completely different things than Ten Hag did. It just adds another dimension to it. But no, I'm absolutely buzzing with what McKenna's done, and I love his character. I was so happy when Ipswich beat Spurs 2 weeks ago. It's been a long time coming. You guys have been very unlucky this season. You should have more points than you have, and I honestly think if you keep up with these performances, and maybe not the rate of results, but if you start getting the results that your poor performances deserve, I think you have every chance of staying up this season. I really do. So, yeah, just a friendly sort of note there of I wish you all the very best, and may the best team win this weekend. And I've been asked to finish with a little score prediction. As I said earlier, I think United's midfield can be got at. I don't think Agate and Casemiro will provide the energy required. I think the wide areas are an issue, because if it is De Ligt, Evans and Martinez, it's just not a quick defence. So I think you look at sort of Amari Hutchinson, Sammy Schmodix, Liam Delap, they can really target those wide areas, and I think he will. I'm a huge fan of Sam Morsey as well. Obviously your captain. Love him. I think he's having a brilliant season as well. He's adapted to Premier League football really well. And it's just that midfield again. It is a big worry for me. It really is. I'm not that big on Calvin Phillips. He's obviously not the most popular player on the terraces at Old Trafford, given his Leeds United and Manchester City links. I don't rate him too highly, but Sam Morsey has all the quality I think needed to unlock those line-breaking passes and really cause United issues. So yeah, it's going to be a fascinating game. It really is. I'm hoping, given Amorim's ability to, he made Sporting the most prolific scorers in Europe while he was there. So I'm hoping he can sort of switch on United's attack, because I think we've scored 12. I think we've only scored 12 league goals this season. It's actually the same as Ipswich, I think. No shade to you guys, but obviously for a United team with the millions and millions worth of players, it's not exactly good enough. That I think we've scored 12 and conceded 12. So I'm hoping Amorim can sort of sprinkle some of his magic onto this attack, really unlock that potential. And if I look at Ipswich's team, I think the defence is the thing letting you down. I think only Wolves have conceded more in the Premier League this season. So I think while McKenna has tried to sort of solidify things up a bit and make yourselves harder to beat, it hasn't quite come off yet. So I do think that could be your downfall. I certainly don't think United are going to keep a clean sheet on Sunday, I'll tell you that. But optimism's high, and I can't put a dampener on the momentum that Amorim's arrival has given us. So I'm going to have to predict a United win this weekend. I'm going to go Ipswich Town 1, Manchester United 3. So I'm sorry about that, but I'm really excited for the game. It's going to be a great occasion, and I hope all of you guys going to it on Sunday have a great day. Hopefully not too great. Hopefully a United result puts a little dampener on it. But no, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a really, really good one. So enjoy the occasion, and all the best for the rest of the season, guys. Thanks again for having me on. Take care.